Hey guys, how you doing? Just got finished watching the day in the life of the Occupy Wall Street participant video by MattWillWork, and I was pretty impressed by the video. He had a lot of good points, and something he said at the end of the video really intrigued me about the 90 percenters, the majority of the people with jobs just laughing at these overeducated, lazy hipsters, and that really intrigued me. And I was just really curious what the day in the life of one of these 90 percenters was like. So I decided to do a little research. And I got a little anecdote to share with you guys. Forgive me, this isn't memorized, but I think it's important to listen to and just, have another perspective on things. Just for the sake of, identity, I'm not going to divulge too much personal information, but I'm going to be talking about Karen, and Karen is a 42-year-old single mom with 2 children. Now, Karen wakes up every morning at 5 a.m., drops her kids off at her mother's house because she can't afford daycare, and takes 1 train and 2 buses for an hour-long commute to work. She starts every day at 7 a.m., bright and early. Now, Karen has her associate's degree in communications, and she was a manager of customer service for a well-renowned pharmaceutical company until they outsourced her whole department 3 years ago. Now Karen serves sausage and muffins to fat, poor families who can't afford healthy groceries. Now, her branch of McDonald's had to cut their custodial services a few months back, and now the employees rotate between flipping burgers and cleaning shit off the restroom stalls, and today's Karen's turn. So after putting in, 8 hours of hard work, she's finally ready to retire for the day from her first job. Karen has 2 jobs, and in the afternoon she doubles as a geography tutor at the local high school. That's nice. Now, what the school doesn't know is Karen flunked geography in high school. It's actually her worst subject. But that didn't discourage her from lying at her interview on her application. Whatever it takes to get ahead. And besides, the high school, doesn't have enough funding to do thorough background checks anyway, so I'm sure she'll be okay. So, in addition to the 8:25 she gets an hour working at the tutoring, she also gets access to the school nurse for her and her kids. Karen used to have health insurance through her husband, but he had an affair. Yeah, they got divorced a few years back. He had an affair with Jim Beam, who he became acquainted with after he got laid off from his job. It was a mess, but that's neither here nor there. So after, working her second job, finishing up, the 12 hours that she was putting in, just an average, typical workday, she finally gets to go home. And on the bus, she passes by one of these Occupy protests. It's typical, one you've seen in the media, full of smelly, scummy, hypocritical college students. And Karen becomes filled with rage. I mean, she's really upset. And she can't help but just scream at the top of her lungs, "Ah, get a job, you lazy bums! This is America!" And now for my editorial. It's easy to criticize things you dislike or are uneducated on, and everyone's entitled to their own opinion. I'm very opinionated, and it's obvious you are too. That's okay. However, using blatantly falsified and made-up anecdotes to prove a point isn't okay. It's irresponsible and makes you uncredible. These Occupy movements aren't about demonizing consumerism or capitalism in essence. It's about those who exploit those systems to hurt others. It's about people who continue to take from those who have nothing left to give. And people like that are our enemies. And it's wrong of you to assume that the majority of Americans agree with you. Just because you're part of the 90% with jobs doesn't mean you represent that 90%. I'm inclined to believe a majority of people out there agree with me, agree with the Occupy movement, but I don't go around claiming to represent those people. And the fact of the matter is, our statistic is more dramatic than any statistic that you can provide. 1% of this country's population holds 99% of its wealth. That is a fact. And it takes a certain kind of idiot to think that's fair. An idiot with a camera.